What's up, guys? Aid here, my boy Dakota. What random shit you got for us today, Dakota?
All right, we got them tree boys. All right, so first we got three of this vanilla.
What's the name of this deck even? I forget the name.
Deck's called Sunavalon.
Sunavalon.
Yeah. So 3 copies of this starter. This card's a 1-card extra link.
That's a vanilla. You know that, right?
Yeah. I wish it was a vanilla. This card is pretty much anything you'd ever want in a card. I really wish I was lying, but this card's like the entire key point of the combo. You just want to get to this card as soon as possible. You really just have to max out on this card. Next is 3 copies of Shadow. This card is an extender, however, it also does bring a dude out from extra deck that's the same name as another dude. So he does provide a pretty critical combo in your extra link. The card is really good. I usually never use its first effect because the first effect is just being an extender. However, when you do get into it, it is really good. Next, you're playing 2 copy of Twin. I have seen multiple lists play 1 because it is just another extender, but you will have to summon it off of the new spell. However, the new spell can't summon from hand, so if you do draw it, you kind of just want to kill yourself. But this card is really crazy. It just brings a dude back from grave, and the second effect does not matter. I have never used the second effect in my entire life. Bricks, 1 copy of Maiden. This card, it's pretty good, actually. It stops your opponent from targeting your dudes because it just negates the effect that summons itself, so he's an extender. It just plays around Imperm. Next is the honorary Sunavalon monster, Mardell. You summon it from deck off Jasmine. This card just searches...
I had no idea this card existed. It's really cool.
Yeah, this card's insane. She just searches any plant, so it can search any of your other bricks, but you usually are searching Laurel because Laurel will gain you 500 life points and will...
Which triggers the link, right?
Yeah, it triggers Jasmine, it triggers your Aromate Synchro, just puts your life up higher.
It was sick seeing you use the second effect of the link too, because I've only ever seen the tribute to summon a plant used in FTKs and shit.
Yeah,
so it's cool actually seeing the whole card resolve.
Yeah. So the reason that it's so cool in this deck is because this deck is completely reliant on you taking damage and gaining the life points back. But when you have extenders like Laurel that just end up giving you your life points back, they just turn to additional extenders for you. Just like Rose Girl, because Jasmine can search this, which will in turn become another extender and will be a continuous cycle.
Yeah, that card adds itself back from grave, right?
Yeah, as long as you control a plant. And my 2 favorite bricks, Spore, the 1 tuner. Pretty much everyone knows what Spore does. If you don't, get out your rock.
Where have you been?
It just brings itself back. It gains levels, and then Carrot Weight Champion.
This card's really sick. I used to play this in Duel Links and Sylvan.
Yeah, this card's absurd. I didn't realize that it could just send a plant from hand to grave as well as field. So there are situations where you do want to use a card in field just to free up a zone. But these 2 will end up getting you to a synchro play. Aside from the bricks, 3 Lone Fire. Every plant deck plays this card. If you don't, you need to purchase some off TCG player.
Do you Lone Fire into the vanilla?
Yes.
I hate this.
You have to. Bro,
I hate this deck.
You need too many ways to get into the vanilla. Every card in your deck has to be in the way you get into the vanilla. Aside from Ashes. But Ashes are just cards, I guess. I'm tired of getting hit with all this dumb stuff. I'm tired of getting hit with Deer. I'm tired of getting hit with Red Ice Fusion. I hate people. Next. Best card in the deck. Objectively best card in the deck.
This card is actually insane.
Yeah, because it's so crazy. It summons a dude from the deck and burns you for 1,000. So if you have the Link 1, it will summon the Twin from deck, which will in turn get you a dude from grave, and then it will get you another Link monster from the extract due to the Link's effect. We can just go over that when I get to it.
And it's searchable off the Link 1, right?
Yeah, it's absurd. The restriction is you can't summon monster your extract for the rest of the turn except for plants, but who cares?
Okay, we'll play 15 plants.
Yeah,
and it's Balinks in grave. Yeah. That card came up a lot when we played.
Yeah, Balinks in grave. This card's so good. I feel like if they never gave this deck this card, this deck would never see play at all. Next, 3 Shrine. This is your other search target off of the Link 1. It's a soft once return revive, and it puts a card in grave. It's alright. I've seen lists play 2 of it. But I just like 3 because it is just a soft once per turn extender. It can also recycle a continuous trap from grave, which that part doesn't matter. I've never used that effect. Just like the Twins second effect, I've never used the second effect in my life.
Is this the deck you plan on playing a lot? Or is this just like a moment in time for you that you're playing this?
So I try to play something different every week. This was just a thing that I picked up this week because I did not want to play PK. PK seemed really boring after I played it. Like, it was really boring. But then I see a deck where I can play 3 Painful Decision, and I'm like, oh man, this deck's so cool.
So weird that card's full combo. Is this better than full combo because it gives you the 1 engraved? Does that come up?
It comes up sometimes if you need the other level 1 engraved for Spore, but that's if you don't have the line into Laurel. But if you're playing this deck and you have the vanilla already, you're getting into Laurel. It's like
you've got everything with 1 vanilla.
Yeah, it's just
so
absurd. Next, 3 Arf. Arf is just a searcher. It searches Spore. It searches the other extender, Shadow.
But it burns you too.
Yeah, it burns you during. Honestly, the end phase burn usually it doesn't matter because when you get to the line, you will have your way to gain back your life points. But aside from that, I really.
It came up once against me, I think, where you searched on the end phase because you burned.
Yeah, it was.
That's so dumb because your link, when you take damage, you get to search.
Yeah, it's just it's insane.
Do you like side any hand traps? I mean, maybe that'll come up like any level 1 hand traps that this could search. Because this would be crazy adding like a droll or something to blow them out on top of your combo.
There was a time where I was siding in. I sided in 3 drolls, and this searched a droll, and it just ended my opponent's turn. But I didn't. I actually forgot to put in drolls in my side because I really cared about Lancia over droll. But I never really had the need to actually search a hand trap off this, but it is an option to do. 2 unexpected die. I should be playing through this, but one of our boys he spilled a drink on his die, and I had to give him one. You should be playing 3 of this card, though. This card's another way to the vanilla. You want as many ways to the vanilla as possible.
Speaking of which, I have a third. I'll give you when we're done.
Hey, thanks, boss. Next, 2 Pot of Avarice. This card is kind of needed, kind of not needed. You want to see it sometimes, not all the time.
If you're not playing the game, it's dead. But if you're playing the game, it's a draw too.
Yeah, because you would just be putting back 5 links. Maybe the bricks. Because your main bricks that you would be putting back are Mardell and Laurel, but that's if you've already gone through the line. But half the time, I actually don't think resolving this is resolving is crazy, obviously, but it's not needed to actually play your deck. I probably wouldn't cut it just because, but I can see the reason as to why you would cut it. One called by because I hate hand traps. I probably would. These could probably just be crossouts, and you could just play like a couple of extra cards as the hand traps. 3 Imperm because I hate monster effects, obviously. This deck actually plays like 0 real negations, so you kind of have to play that. 1 copy of Blessed Wind and 1 copy of Bloom as the rest of the main deck.
This is 40, right?
This is actually 42.
42. Would it be 43 with the unexpected die, or is there something you're cutting for it?
Yes, it would be 43 with the unexpected die. You don't have to play 43. You can't. There are cards you can cut, but I just like 43. I like 42, 43 because like it gets everything in there.
And you have a couple cards you don't really want to draw,
Yeah.
so it lowers the chance of doing so.
Yeah. So this just gains you your life. It's searchable off the synchro, and this is searchable off the link 4. It's a pseudo skill, one-sided skill drain that also gives your guys attack points if they battle.
This card was really, really cool against me in conjunction with the synchro, because like in the back row matchup you heal, and then this card gets to pop a card, right?
Yeah, because she searches this, and in turn, like, it just gets you the entire thing.
That was kind of cool, because your play is, like, your end board's really strong against combo decks, but having that line to go into to be strong against control decks, too, was sick.
Yeah, because that would be the reason why you go through this line, because these would be the way you would get to this.
You banish level 1 to make Spore 2, and then you have the carrot for level 4.
Yeah. There was a time where I was playing Trick Clown and Zephyros. So the Trick Clown was off of the Shrine, because Shrine does discard a card in order to activate itself. And you would in turn bring out the Trick Clown, take 1,000, and you float off of the link 1. And the other way was Zephyros bouncing his back, because this is a soft must return.
Oh, so you could place it again? That's kind of strong.
Yeah. However, those cards are unsearchable, unlike, the other bricks like Carrot Weight and Spore.
Yeah,
and
so
all
Carrot
that
Weight
stuff.
serves a similar function, but you could search it.
Yeah. As for Bloom, I've seen this card way more times than I would like to. You just do want to search it, but I've just been opening it in every opening hand. But it is pretty good. It's pretty good trap card. Pseudo Skill Drain is really neat. Extra deck. Your one synchro, she searches your Blessed Winds, and if you have higher life than your opponent, then you get to make it so all your dudes can't be targeted by your opponent's card effects. And if you gain life, you just get to pop a card in your opponent's field.
So strong.
It is mandatory, so the first time you gain life, it has to happen. However, there are so little ways that your opponent can force out the gain life that you're just like, it doesn't matter if it's mandatory or not.
I'm gonna activate Upstart.
Bro, you activate Upstart, then I just die. This card is absolutely useless. 3 copies of Drias.
This card is insane.
This card is a non-once per turn search for any Sunvine spell or trap as long as you use the vanilla, which is why you're maxing out on so many different ways to get to the vanilla. And when you take damage, you gain the life back, then summon a Sunvine Link monster from your extra deck. So this card is a soft once per turn for that second effect, but the first effect is not a once per turn at all. So it does need to be summoned to a extra monster zone by using a vanilla. So I mean, like, if you're going through all of that in order to get a search, you might as well just get the search. It's not.
This card is like made for extra linking. The fact that it like has to be summoned in the extra monster zone, and like you want to resolve multiple, so I guess you got to get to both zones.
Yeah. So and because of the fact that you can just like link a dude off from your EMC to just free up that EMZ and then proceed to link summon it up there again, it's also just insane. It's these nuts, bro. 2 copies of Thrasher. This card is.
How do you say Sunseed backwards?
These nuts.
No way. Yo, that's good.
So this card's the main beater of the deck. It gains 800 per arrow of a dude on your board, and if he runs something over in battle, he gets to actually steal it. That effect has actually rarely ever come up because most of the time you go into Shadow, and Shadow locks you into Plant specifically for entirety of the special summoning. Unlike the spell, which specifically locks you out of extra deck. So usually when you do Shadow and you summon like this big dude, you are able to steal your opponent's dudes, but you can still just run them the hell over. 1 healer. This card just gains 300 life points. This card doesn't need to do anything else.
Is that just like a name?
It's a name that gives you life points when you summon it off Drias. This card ends up making this card really crazy. Because you get the life points higher, then you have the Laurel in hand, and Laurel can extend itself because it can only summon itself if you have higher life than your opponent. 2 Jasmine. Pretty much a staple in the deck. It summons Mardell from deck, and then which gets you to the Laurel, and if you gain life, you search any plant. It's pretty good. I don't know what else to say. This card's just insane. I really like how the fact that most of the dual power and dual overload links are just absurd.
How cheap is this deck?
So it's mainly just the Mardell that's really expensive. Aside from that, everything else is like relatively cheap.
I kind of want to learn it. It seems fun.
So these were the hardest part to get, not necessarily because of the fact that they are expensive, but because of the fact that no one, like on release day, had any. They kept pulling the Link 2 specifically, but not the Link 1. But you don't play any of them aside from the Link 1 and the Link 4. This card's just, it just points left and right. It also recycles, but that part does not matter. 2 Milius. Milius just brings back a dude from Grave, specifically the vanilla from Grave.
His art is nice, dude. He looks kind of creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy.
Like seductive. Like he's gonna lure me into his cave or something, you know?
Yes, indeed. Very much so. This card also makes one of your Sunvines attack extra times per dude on your field. So you can just make your one dude...
he becomes 4K and then can attack twice?
Yeah, if you target her for his effect, he'll only gain 24, so it'll be at 32. But the fact that this can make it swing multiple times, and not even just at monsters, just directly as well.
That's degen.
Yeah, it's absurd. This card also is a once per turn to bring back the seed. That's how you get the entire like extra link going as well. One of this Link 4 only searches a trap card, and it can be destroyed by card effects.
Only searches the trap? You mean the whole skill drain?
Yeah, I mean, that card sucks. The only other thing this card does, aside from just not letting you attack it like every other Sun Avalon Link, is the it can pop a dude, but that's alright, I guess. It can just pop, but it's not target pop. And finally, Bengal Lancer. This card is also another honorary Sunavalon. It bounces a dude and then burns you for however much that monster attack was, which triggers the
guy to
small
heal,
tree.
yeah.
And after that, if he's in grave, you can banish guys from your grave. His total links add up to 4, and then after that, he comes back. The effect is a once per turn, but once during that turn, but that part does not matter. Because
Go ahead.
his bounce is a quick effect, so it's like, doesn't really matter all that much.
One thing I noted when we were playing too is he's the only one in the extra deck that like on its own has big attack stats. Everything else is like 0 except for this and the 800 guy that goes up.
Yeah, most of them aren't even supposed to be attacking. It's only these two. These are your main beaters. As for the side, Nib, because Nibiru is a good card. Veilers, these should be the Drolls, if I would put the Drolls in.
This is where I'd put my Drolls. If I had them.
I don't even know where they are. 3 Lancia, this card's been the MVP. This card's really crazy. Just a good card. 3 Dark Rulers. This card deck is really good at breaking boards. So even if you don't deal damage, you can still break apart the board because, you know, infinite attacks with this dude in the Link 3. And 3 Cosmic. I hate Floodgates, but I still lost the Floodgates.
Oh, it's because Cosmic ain't enough when I got 5 of them, brother.
Yeah, just set 5, and I have the 1 Cosmic, and he flips double Tikaboo.
Would you be down to show me the 1-card combo for the extra link?
Yeah, I got you.
Hell yeah, 'cause I want to see like exactly how this works. And when we were playing, I kind of got to see it, but I didn't see it just with the 1 card and get to really process what's going on.
Yeah, so it technically is a 1.5 card combo.
You
You just need a discard. However, we can just use Imperm, for example.
All right.
So first thing you do is normal summon the seed. The seed would then turn into the small tree. Small tree would search your spell, which would always be sowing. This card will just activate itself. It will summon a sun seed from the deck, which would have to be twin. This would get you to the rest of the combo. You would take 1,000. Twin and Drias would trigger. So Drias would summon specifically Healer, because you would gain the life, then Healer would end up giving you another 300.
Yeah.
And Twin would bring back the seed, because it has to bring back specifically a level 4 lower plant normal.
Next time I lose to this deck, I'm gonna go live by the seed, die by the seed.
That's just how it be sometimes, brother. These 2 would turn into Jasmine. It's really important that you leave a dude to Jasmine's zone so you can trigger.
Because it has a tribute from the zone it points to, right?
Yeah. So you would tribute and summon the Mardell from the deck, and Mardell would in turn search the Laurel. You are now at 8,300 because of Healer gaining 8,300, so you just summon the Laurel.
Healer?
Yes.
I barely know her.
So then you would link these 2 into the Daphne here. Laurel will give you another 5, then Jasmine would then search here. She would search, usually, it would depend on what's in your hand, but here we're just gonna search Shadow here.
In the 1-card combo, we're grabbing Shadow.
Yeah, so we link these 2 off into the Milius, because this card's really good. Milius would then bring back the seed.
The seed.
And
I love it too much. I want to play this deck.
After that, you'd make the Drias here. It doesn't matter which EMZ you summon it to. This would then search your Shrine. And
that's why you need a discard fodder? Was
Yeah.
just a random pitch for that?
Yeah.
Or
Shrine would then end up bringing this back, and you would use this to banish the target Daphne and then bring out another Daphne.
So it banishes from grave, targets one you control, and summons one of the same name?
Yes, it has to be specifically linked to or lower. So these 2 would then make the Milius, and Milius would bring back the seed, which would in turn bring back the Drias. So this would be just the extra link. This is nothing else. However, if you do want the other interruption, then you would use this to search the other Shrine.
So we can just keep going even. We get the extra link and then some off of 1 normal monster.
Yeah, you
Oh,
would...
so without this, right, if you didn't have the Imperm, this would still be the extra link,
would
just
still-
off 1 normal
Yeah,
level 1 seed.
Yes, as well as a Baling's protection.
Yeah, and so then, and this is from battle or card effects, right? So like
Yes.
they can't even be like, oh, I'm gonna attack over that.
Well, you can't even attack into them. All the Sun Avalons have an effect where they just cannot be attacked.
Oh yeah, but you can attack direct instead, right?
Yes. However, if you take damage, these are going to trigger. So
That's
it's
insane. And then because we do have the discard now, though, we get to search the.
Yeah. You activate this, pitch the card, bring back the seed, and here You would use these two to make the Bengal answer, so you have an interruption during your opponent's turn.
So what exactly does he do?
You target an effect on your opponent's field, affect monster on your opponent's field, take damage equal to his attack, then bounce that monster back to the
Which
opponent's
also
field.
gives us searches.
It would give us 2 extra special summons from the extra deck.
That's so dumb. What
Then
the
you
hell?
turn these 2 into the big tree because your extra link won't be broken if you deal with anything down here. And this would search your pseudo one-sided skill ring.
So what do you mean by pseudo? Like what exactly does it do?
So if you activate it while you control a Link 4 plant, it negates the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls.
So on activation, once it resolves, the monsters that are there negate
Yes.
it. But like if I were to summon a monster after that, it's not.
Yeah, it's not negated.
So it's kind of like a dark ruler, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I
You
would say.
blank whatever's on the board at the time.
Yeah. So this would be your if you had the discard, this would be your full interaction. This would be your dark ruler and then your bounce. Your opponent can't swing into these. And if you take damage, you would just summon your 2 Thrashers like here.
This is so cool.
Yeah, the only problem is that this deck puts up literally 0 other negation. There's no hard negation, it's just this and like Amounts.
I think I saw the YCS a Brave list topped, right?
Yeah, a Brave list topped. However, I hate Brave cards. So I refuse to ever touch them in my entire life, even to read them. I'll tell my opponent to explain them to me.
That's fair, but I was just thinking about it because that does put up the Omni, but that's why it works. I didn't understand what this deck did or how those would even synergize, but now I see because like you literally just do it off of vanilla.
Yeah,
You don't
and-
need an effect on you summon.
Yeah, and the Brave stuff would be really good with this because, sure, you're locked out of effects of normal summon monster, but you're normal summoning a vanilla, so it doesn't matter.
You didn't have an effect to begin with.
Yeah, so this would just be the entire like combo. If you had a Brave cards with it, you would
Yeah.
have Brave stuff with it, but
Is there a world where you play more hand traps? Have you thought about your lineup?
kind of. You would just be cutting more ways to get to the vanilla though, and I
Don't want to do that.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do that. Aside from that, I probably would just be playing one of hand traps and cross out.
I think that seems really sick too. You got any like final words you want to say?
This deck's really cool, but it also sucks. So I would never build it in my entire life. I just picked this up because I like the anime and I'm a weeaboo. So yeah.
All right, sick. Thank you.